Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today's video is going to be very different from all my other videos because this is going to be a vlog-like video, at least the most vlog-like video for me, where I'll be showing you the things that I'll be talking about today instead of just having the audio file play over a random time-lapse video. I know I've been away from YouTube for quite a while. That wasn't my intention. I didn't want to be away for so long, but I just ended up getting very busy and just caught up in projects that took a lot of time. And it's funny because I had alluded to this in my clown sticker video. I said that I was getting a little greedy with all the things that I wanted to do, taking on too many things that took me away from my schedule. And this time it totally took me away from my YouTube schedule. I ended up not posting any videos in the last 3-4 weeks, and I feel really bad about it. I hope this video will fill you guys in on what I've been up to and what I've been dealing with and why I've been away for so long. And before I get too deep into the video, I hope you guys can bear with me because this is a very new thing for me to try, where I kind of show you a little bit more of my surroundings, and I'm very nervous about it. I have mentioned in my past videos that the audio portion, the recording the narration part of the videos, is what's probably the most difficult for me. I have a hard time stringing like a few sentences together, and I have so many awkward pauses in between my words that it just becomes an extremely frustrating process when I go to edit a video. And anyway, I just hope that I can get through what I want to say. I'm hoping that with enough practice, I'll be able to open up a little bit more and do more videos like this, and hopefully just share with you guys more than just, you know, what's on my desk. I was actually going to make a video of this portrait study that I did in gouache, but I don't really like how it turned out, so I don't really want to spend, you know, the hours that it takes to turn this thing into a video, because I wasn't really going to be talking about the painting anyway. But what I did want to talk about is the designs that I was making for the new products. I've already shown them to you on Instagram. Maybe not these ones yet. I haven't posted these, but you've seen them on Instagram already, so I don't mind showing these closer up to you guys here on YouTube. I feel almost embarrassed to say that all these paintings took me a month to do. But man, designing for a product is hard. It takes a lot more than just creating an illustration and having that be it. It takes a lot of it just requires a lot more editing and a lot more planning in advance. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I will be talking more in depth about it in the actual respective videos. Here are the pouch designs here. Those did you do? And here's the planning work that went into it. And these were the sketchbook designs. And this one. But yeah, I think actually my point was that, yes, this took me a long time, but I was really busy, not because this is a lot of work, but because I had a really hard time managing my time, and I just felt like the most inefficient person ever for the last 4 weeks. In my last video, I had mentioned that I was going to be designing for some new products, and that I had committed to going to a convention called Zine, and how all these projects and commitments were gonna be taking me away from my regular scheduled programming and just things that I had planned on doing before I committed to those things. And my prediction came true. It's funny, the video is so ironic because that's exactly what happened, even though in the video I was kind of warning other artists to not do what I'm doing. I feel like I almost told myself that this was all I was going to do for the next few weeks, and it just kind of became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, it's really hard to explain, but I really just couldn't do anything else. I couldn't sit down and make videos for you guys, because while I was recording the time lapse for these paintings, I wasn't ready to upload it because, well, I want to show the time lapse when I have the products in my hands, and I can show the products to you guys and show how it all turned out from start to finish. There's so many things like that where, like, yeah, I have a few time-lapse clips in my back pocket where I could turn them into videos, but for whatever reason, the timing isn't right. It's not exactly what I want to show you guys next. It's really hard to explain, but I just keep giving myself these excuses as to why I can't do something in that moment. Like, I keep kind of pushing it, saying like, oh, I'll do this when this first thing is done, but I never end up getting to that first thing. So a lot of things end up snowballing, and I know this is very abstract because I'm not saying anything specific, and it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around. Even for me, as I'm talking about it, it's hard for me to like keep track of like what I'm actually talking about. So I apologize, but long story short, when I commit to something that has a deadline and there's something at stake, there's money at stake. You have to, usually with these things, you have to pay a deposit, a non-refundable deposit to someone, or the person organizing the orders, and it's hundreds of dollars, and then you have to pay the entire deposit for the order. And once you've done that, like, you can't get that money back. You have to follow through with the designs. You have to meet the deadlines, otherwise, like, you're shit out of luck. So I didn't want that to happen, and these projects, the designs for these things became my absolute first priority to get done. I just had to drop everything I had, everything on my plate I was doing, and just go full on steam with these designs. And that's because I really just wanted to do a good job. It's not practical because, not everyone has the luxury where they can do that. I have the luxury of dropping whatever else I'm doing because I control my schedule. I control what I can do and what I will do during a day. Someone who actually has a full-time job who wants to participate in making one of these pouches, they don't have the luxury to do that. They just have to fit it into their schedule, I guess what I'm saying is I've just lost the ability to do anything more than just like one task at a time. I blame myself because I think I'm just so particular about the certain things that need to be in place for me to be in the working zone. I'm such a particular and just so, sensitive to my environment and surroundings. As some of you guys may know, I moved into a new building this past September, and it's a very beautiful old building. It's more than 100 years old, actually. And as with old buildings, there are a lot of issues. Our apartment has several, but they're not big. But the biggest one is that our heater doesn't work all the time. So since our heating has some issues, we have been having the contractor come in here and there to check on it, and there are a few other issues that required attention, so we have someone else coming in for that. And I work from home, and you know when you have to get your like internet installed and you have the cable guy coming and they give you like the time frame of, oh, anytime between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And for me, that's like enough to just like write an entire day off. I know that sounds so stupid, but I find that so distracting for me when I know that I'm going to be expecting someone, but I don't know exactly when. So I will just like put off certain tasks because, oh, what if the person shows up and I'm in the middle of this thing and I don't want to like get distracted. I don't want to be pulled away from it. So that's been something that's been really distracting for me. Not to mention our unit next door has been going under some major renovations. Actually, our unit was under renovations before we had moved in, and now our next door unit is being renovated on, and they're like major renovations. You know, they're taking out the floor, replacing the floors, they're taking out the countertops in the kitchen. They're just like redoing the whole thing, and that's why I have been putting off recording for you guys for YouTube, and because there are a lot of construction noise in our new building, and we are expecting it to stop by the end of this month. But yeah, today is an unusually quiet day, so I have decided to take this opportunity and record a long due video for you guys. So in my clown video, I had also mentioned that I was going to be working on a zine because I was going to go to this convention called Canzine. And sorry, I'm trying to open this. There we go. Isn't this cute, by the way? So cute. In order to go to this convention, I had to have published or self-published a zine. And I have never done anything like that before, so I was very non-committal about it. I wanted to do a good job, as with anything. If I commit to something, I get very greedy and I want it to be the best thing ever. But it was seeming more like I was gonna have no time for the zine. So what I ended up doing, I'll show you this first. Look familiar? Yeah, so I decided, because I have a whole bunch of clown themed art in my repertoire, that I was going to just do a little kind of art book zine, I guess. It's not a comic. It's just like a little sketchbook or an art book. It looks good on the outside. I was pretty happy, actually. I thought it was gonna look pretty cool. I did these test prints. I think this was my first one, and I'll show you. You've seen all these before. There's nothing new in here. Yeah, so this is the test print of the zine, and I thought, hey, that looks pretty good. I printed it in black and white, obviously, to save on ink, just to see like how things were gonna be laid out, and I thought that I did a pretty good job for my first test print. The only thing was that when I cut the sheet in half, it didn't quite line up. Let's see, let me show you an example. Anyway, it just didn't quite line up, and I didn't want to even have to take an X-Acto knife and cut the edges so that they will be flush up against each other. I didn't even have time for that. By this point, it was like the last day before the convention at night. So I printed out a few more test prints, and I was pretty happy. And I think I did a pretty good job. Like, look, it's getting, like, the sheets are a lot more even. So I was ready to go ahead with the color version of the test print. And that's when everything started to go so wrong. And I don't know if you guys know Joy San here on YouTube. I've mentioned her in my videos in the past. Ooh, the sirens. While I was working on the scene, I had one of her latest vlogs at the time playing in the background. And in this vlog, she was basically going through the exact same problems. Let me first tell you what I was dealing with. So the cover looks pretty great. I don't know if you can tell if there's any problem with it. That looks pretty good, right? And then, yeah, okay, even here looks pretty good. And then here, I don't know if you can tell, but there is banding on this. Here, you see these like slightly lighter pink lines. It's a little hard to tell here on camera. I'll try to pick a better one, a better example. Here, you can really notice them on this one. And also, the colors are just not accurate at all. It looks extremely saturated. I was printing on my regular Canon Pixma Pro 100 printer, and I never really had issues like this before. So I was just like so stumped. I couldn't understand what was happening. I printed out, see here, it's also very noticeable. I use this printer for my business and I make prints with it. Never had a banding issue like this, other than when the ink is low or like the ink cartridge just doesn't register at times. But banding like this, I have never had before. I tried a whole bunch of things with the printer. I tried nozzle checks and nozzle cleaning or whatever, and print head alignment and all kinds of troubleshooting things that did not work, and it just continued to print like this. So while I was trying to figure this out, I had Joy's vlog in the background, and in her vlog, she was experiencing the exact same thing. Except with her, it was worse, I would say. Like she, wow. Because for me, this is just for me to get a ticket into the convention that I signed up for. I mean, I obviously wanted to do a really good job and put a cute product together, but this isn't my baby. Joy had spent weeks, if not like the last few months, working on this new comic, and she had also just like purchased several very expensive things for the making of the comic. Well, I bought my own long arm stapler just for this, which was, you know, it's not cheap. It was like $40 for me. She spent, I can only imagine how much time she spent and how much money she spent trying to troubleshoot her banding problem. At the end of the day, I ended up not going to the convention because I couldn't fix the banding issue. And I just couldn't, I can't, you know, I just can't sell this. I would never charge money for a faulty product. So I had the decision to make, and I decided to just, you know what, the convention was only $35, which is very cheap for a convention. It's not a big overhead cost. It's not a big risk. I knew it would be a risk because I had never made a zine before, and yeah, I left it to the last minute to do it. So I knew this could happen, so I was at least a little bit mentally and emotionally prepared for it. But man, I had never done that before, where I committed to doing something, like actually putting money down and, you know, planning for it, and then I just end up not following through and I lose the money. Like, that was the first time I've ever done that, and I felt so guilty over the next few days, feeling like I just wasted my last 2 days on this, as well as just like mental space worrying about this convention when I didn't have to do that, right? Like, I knew I'd be busy. Why did I don't know. I guess this came before this, the pouch and the sketchbook design, so I guess I can't beat myself up too much for it, but I just didn't manage my time very wisely. And yeah, anyway, long story short, don't try to do something totally new the day before you need it. You know, I should have tried color printing before anything, just to check that there's no banding issue like this. Lesson learned. So yeah, that's the story behind this zine that will never be, because technology. Something else I've been doing, I've been trying to put these older studies that I've done online for sale. This is not a study, but I'm gonna put this guy up for sale as well. I did a few others in this style several years ago, and I put them up for sale, and they all eventually sold. And I'm also gonna put Rapunzel up for sale. I actually made a print of this one, but truth be told, I haven't sold a single print of her. I can see how it can look a little creepy to other people, but I personally really like how this turned out. This is in gouache, by the way. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, even though it's a big departure from my other videos. I just really wanted to take the time today to just talk to you guys and fill you in on what I've been up to. I will be back with some art in my next one, and I'll see you guys then. Bye! One last thing before I let you guys go. I just want to tell you about this little ordeal I had over the weekend. And it's sort of like a public service announcement as well. I updated my operating system on my MacBook Pro, and I usually I'm someone who waits till like the last second to update to the latest operating system because of I don't know, reasons, I guess. I've always just been very paranoid about it and very hesitant and slow to act on that whenever there is a new operating system, whether it is on the MacBook Pro or on my iPhone. But my computer, my MacBook, was working very slowly over the last few days, and the computer kept like prompting me to update itself. So I figured, why not? You know what? Let's just do it. Like, why do I keep putting things like that off? Like, what what could possibly go wrong? And I updated it, and then I realized, oh, I can't use my tablet. Why? Because I was using an Intuos 3, and the driver for it doesn't work with the latest operating system. It doesn't work with, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Mojave. Mojave or Mojave. There was just no driver that worked with it anymore. So I was like, fuck, I have to do something with it. I have to either get a new tablet, or I have to somehow figure out a way to downgrade this thing. And not only did the tablet not work, but my Premiere Pro stopped working. Why? Because I have Adobe CS5 collection, and getting that installed on my MacBook Pro, which is a 2017 model, even that was basically like I had to do some voodoo magic to install that. Like it just wouldn't let me. I had to like Google a way around it, and I had to like prompt this like script thing to come up, and I had to like put in some like code, and then it like miraculously installed itself. So yeah, it was a miracle just to get that installed, and I was determined to keep that for as long as I could. But when I upgraded to the newest operating system, I completely forgot about my tablet driver thing and the CS5 collection that I had on my computer. I completely forgot about that. And then when I went to use those things, it just wouldn't open. And I was like so sad. So long story short, I bought this Wacom Intuos Pro. It's the older model of the latest one. I bought this used from someone on Kijiji for $200. I think it's a pretty good deal, considering this, if you want to buy it now, it's $300 plus tax Canadian. So I think it was a pretty good purchase. You know what? This is a lot smaller than that old Intuos 3 that was like really big, and like I don't need that big of a surface anyway. I actually like constrain the drawing area to like pretty much this much anyway. So it sucks. I can't believe I just completely forgot why I was holding on to the Mac Sierra for the longest time, but it happened, and I had the decision to make. Do I spend more money, or do I go through the trouble of backing everything up on the computer and trying things to downgrade it back? And I just really don't like messing with technology, and I know others would probably opt to downgrade. I just didn't want to really go through that because I don't trust myself to do it properly, and that is why I have a Mac computer anyway. So I'll try to look at it on the bright side and move on from this ordeal. But let me tell you, a few days ago when it happened, I was so sad and so angry at technology and at Apple and Wacom and Adobe.